Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, the well-being of our senior citizens and the disabled were one of the topics discussed in a Health, Hospital, and Human Services Committee session at the Senate. Senators aimed at enacting a registry that would aid in providing further services to the senior population, but national federal legislation won't make it easy. News 2's Stephanie Brown reports.
Bill number 32-0064 was proposed on the legislative floor for the purposes of providing a registry of elderly persons age 65 and over to keep track on senior citizens' health care and assistance needs.
The registry will be held in the Department of Human Services. Their telephone numbers, home and cell phone if applicable, and their health condition in the form of good, fair, or poor.
But testifiers cautioned that the registry may violate the Health Insurance Portability and Account Act of 1996, also known as HIPAA.
Federal and state agencies should enact privacy protections to ensure that the purposes and intended uses for which personal data are collected are specified at the time of collection.
Senator Novell Francis remarked that there has been several kinds of registries in the past, and he hasn't seen data that supports the success of these initiatives.
All these registry, and still every time this body asks for information, that's exactly what we get. Quiet.
Denise Singleton, an AARP volunteer, stated that she has been a part of initiatives that assist senior citizens successfully. However, not having valid information has hampered statistics.
And until we have some numbers, do some data collection, and have these registries with this information, and we don't need specifics, we just want aggregate data, then we can't support properly.
Vice Chair of the committee noted that the bill could assist many senior citizens in the territory, but that safeguarding data should be included in the bill's verbiage.
Despite the fact that the bill appears simple, it's a very comprehensive matter.
The bill was held in committee for further amendments.
In other news, the governor recently vetoed Bill 32-002, which we reported on, that authorized the government to purchase estate Catherineburg from WICO. Now, the governor informed that WICO has defaulted on their payment in lieu of taxes, and he also questioned the property value of the estate versus the sales price. One of the bill proposers spoke further with News 2. Here's more.
It is also a good avenue for visitors and another new excursion for visitors to our shores, and I believe that it could generate revenues for the territory. Now, I will agree with the governor in one regard, in that there's a provision of the bill that I think was supposed to have been deleted at the legislative level, and that is the one where he discusses the pilot, because you can interpret the bill as restoring the pilot to $1 million instead of $700,000 a year. But that is a measure that the legislature can address. What is troubling about the governor's message, and I think it's kind of unnecessary, is the governor going beyond his veto message to say, even if this were overwritten, that he would not implement it.
In other news, Acting Governor Osbert Potter denounced an incident that occurred on Sunday, June 11th at John Brewer's Base, St. Thomas, whereby a dinghy boat with multiple occupants approached the shores with a Confederate flag prominently displayed alongside the American flag on the boat. Now, this took place during the What's Going On St. Thomas event, the Floatapalooza, which was a fundraiser for My Brother's Workshop. The attendees at the event were enraged and expressed concerns and offense towards the flying of the Confederate flag. The Confederate flag, he said, is not welcomed, not accepted, nor tolerated in the Virgin Islands under any circumstances. The Confederate flag represents divisiveness, bigotry, slavery, and oppression. This is totally out of line with what we as Virgin Islands residents embrace, which is unity and acceptance of all people, regardless of race, color, religion, or creed. The flying of the flag is totally offensive to Virgin Islanders, and I will not tolerate this blatant display of hatred to our people. That statement came from Acting Governor Potter. Potter ordered the perpetrators of the offense to cease and desist immediately and stated that the flying of the Confederate flag is not welcomed neither on the waters or on land in the United States Virgin Islands. Meanwhile, the organizer of that event made a statement as well. He said it has been brought to his attention that a group of yachties who had been floating around island causing trouble with their flag are the folks who are at the beach. Once they found a place with people who gave them the attention they wanted, boos and screaming to leave, they decided this is where they could have the most fun. The ducky float attached to their boat that you saw in the picture there was stolen from a group of people at the party. They were not invited, they were not welcomed, and they do not represent me or my views. Turning to some crime reports, Shaquille Correa, 21 of St. Croix, made his initial appearance today before U.S. Magistrate Judge Ruth Miller after being charged by indictment with Hobbs Act robbery, conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery, and brandishing a firearm during a federal crime of violence. Acting United States Attorney Joycelyn Hewitt announced Correa, along with Jermaine Ayala, 36, Wahili James, 21, both of St. Croix, and Ron Delano Kuntz, 42 of St. Thomas. They are charged with conspiracy to rob Gems and Gold Corner Jewelry Store in St. Thomas. All four men are scheduled to be arraigned on June 26. According to the indictment, on September 16, 2013, the four men conspired with each other and other unidentified co-conspirators to rob the store, brandished weapons, and threatened and intimidated store employees, and then they fled the store with merchandise. If convicted, each of the four men face up to 20 years in prison on the Hobbs Act robbery charge, plus a mandatory 7-year consecutive sentence for the brandishing firearm charge. Turning to the courts, remaining in the courts, Aisha Rivers, 41, made her initial appearance Monday before U.S. Magistrate Judge George Cannon after being indicted on 75 counts of wire fraud, theft of government money, and making a false statement to the governor. Judge Cannon released Rivers on an unsecured bond. According to the indictment, Rivers knowingly devised a scheme to unlawfully use her overseas housing allowance to obtain government money by means of wire that she was not entitled to receive. Rivers was a member of the Virgin Islands National Guard, and between June 1st, 2011 and June 20th, 2015, she applied for and received OHA funds by submitting fraudulent applications for federal funds. Now, if convicted, she faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for each of the wire fraud counts, 10 years in prison for theft of government property, government money rather, and 5 years in prison for making a false statement. Well, the Virgin Islands Police Department would like to alert the community of an IRS scam that has been reported to the Force's Economic Crime Unit. Here's more from Glenn Drake.
The individual is using IRS automated recordings that sounds very authentic. The recording will explain to you that there is a lawsuit filed against you and they will offer you a discount on your outstanding taxes due. They want you to provide your credit card information to pay for outstanding tax payments. They are trying to get your credit card information, so please do not give them any information. Here are some tips from the Economic Crime Unit to avoid these scams. The IRS will not call you by telephone. They send their correspondences via United States Postal Service. The calls are coming in from New York telephone number 347-468-9786. However, beware of unknown numbers. The person is using the name Agent Jacob Lucas, but they may be using other names. If you receive a call from anyone trying to get information from you, ask them to provide their telephone number so that you can call them back before you give them any of your information. If you think it's a scam, contact the Virgin Islands Police Department at 340-774-2211 and ask for the Economic Crime Unit.
Also on Wednesday, May 17th at approximately 6:10 p.m., officers traveled to the Roy Lesher Schneider Regional Medical Center emergency room in regards to an assault victim. Contact was made with the victim, who stated that he was involved in a verbal altercation with an unknown female when a male walked up to him and stabbed him and then fled the area on foot, while he later called 911 for the ambulance. Now, the victim sustained a laceration to his abdomen and was admitted for further treatment. However, on Saturday, June 10th, 10th. Officers were notified by hospital personnel that on Friday, June 9th at roughly 12:32 p.m., the victim died. Notification of next of kin and autopsy results are pending to determine the cause of death. The Criminal Investigation Bureau is conducting the investigation, and any information available is needed to assist in solving this case. Any persons having information regarding this incident, you are asked to contact the Investigation Bureau at 340-774-2211, extension 5579 and 5576. You can call 911 or Crime Stoppers. Well, we are in the hurricane season, and VIA advises its employees and customers that in the event of a severe storm, hurricane, natural or man-made disaster, it is important that they tune to local radio and television stations to stay abreast of weather conditions and updates from the company. Chief Executive Officer Alvaro Pirar says that we encourage our internal and external customers to stay tuned to the media for weather updates and to advise us of downed lines in their neighborhoods. Customers should refrain from moving or cutting downed lines on their property or in the vicinity of their homes because there may be active power lines, telephone lines, or cable TV lines. For those customers on the hybrid fiber coaxial network during a commercial power outage, the EMTA battery backup for telephone will provide up to 8 hours of talk time. And VIA urges customers to use telephone service during these times as an on-as-needed basis. Customers who have generators or a backup power source will be able to maintain service. It is important for customers to understand that if they do not have additional battery or backup power supply, the use of the telephone should be reserved for emergency purposes only to retain the maximum amount of talk time on the battery. Well, it was another big day on Capitol Hill. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is testifying in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee on the ongoing Russia investigation, among other things, after, according to sources, former FBI Director James Comey told senators in a private hearing the Attorney General may have had another undisclosed meeting with a Russian official during the campaign. Senators grilling Sessions on his role in the investigation, as well as Comey's firing. And while the administration this week hoping to draw attention away from the Russia intrigue hanging over the White House, Sessions' testimony isn't the only unwanted distraction. The special counsel, Robert Mueller, who was appointed to take over the Russia investigation, Republicans warning the president against that. Keeping our eye on the economy, Yahoo's time as an independent company has finally come to an end. Verizon and Yahoo announced Tuesday that Verizon officially completed its deal to acquire Yahoo's core internet assets for nearly $4.5 billion. Shortly after that announcement, Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer announced her resignation. She'll receive a $23 million severance package. Verizon is expected to cut as many as 2,100 employees from the combined venture. As for Yahoo, it is still technically existing, but mainly as a holding company for its stake in Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba. The remnants of Yahoo will be renamed Alibaba. Keeping our eye on the economy, the numbers there: the Dow up 92, NASDAQ 44, S&P 500 up at 10. Coming up on News 2, some more graduation highlights to share with you. That's after the break. Welcome back. Turning to some Caribbean news. In Dominica, a $5.8 million contract signed for highway rehabilitation, and this project is expected to complement construction already taking place. Here's more.
First up, a $5.8 million contract signed on Monday afternoon for highway rehabilitation and river defense works west of the Hillsborough Bridge. More in this report. This project holds special significance for residents of Layou, St. Joseph, and Hillsborough. The construction is expected to complement works already taking place on the York Valley Bridge and upcoming works east of the Hillsborough Bridge.
This major highway serves not just the residents of the St. Joseph constituency, but it also connects the north of the island to the south of the island. And the residents of Lai in particular, who are closest to that area, they have been asking me as a member of parliament how soon work will commence on that area to restore the works. And I'm very pleased this afternoon that the actual contract signing is taking place today for the commencement of work. We were able to do a bypass temporarily, and again, with the assistance of the Ministry of Public Works, we were able to do some additional works on the bypass to sustain it during that period of time. But this government is about building back better, and I'm sure that the designs for that particular portion of road will in fact be much better than what was previously designed.
The parliamentary representative for the Ruzo Valley was also present to witness the signing of a $1.65 million contract for rehabilitation and construction of the Providence Road at Loda. More on this in our next newscast.
We have some graduation ceremony highlights to share with you. 60 students graduated from the Raphael O. Wheatley Skills Center on Sunday at the CAHS Auditorium in a variety of technical and the vocational fields. Family, friends, and supporters listened intently to the message of the keynote speaker, Rosa Marie Denery Francis, who works at the E. Benjamin Oliver School as a nurse. The valedictorian was Zahida Rabai. The Wheatley Center aims to provide students with technical and vocational education. Mark C. Marine Center was filled with supporters and loud cheers for the 42 graduates at the Antilles School graduation that was held on Saturday. Understandably, because the total amount of scholarships granted was more than $2.5 million. All 42 plan to attend different institutes. The VAL was Rashni Lalwani and the SAL was Pooja Chainani. The guest speaker was Halima Taha, an educator and author of 2 books. Now, Taha attended Antilles in the 9th grade, moved away and skipped her senior year to attend college as an early admission student. But more than 30 years later, she was granted her high school diploma from Antilles, making her the 43rd member of the class of 2017. Congrats to all the graduates there as they throw their caps up in celebration. Now, there are 13 new graduates from the All Saints Cathedral School, and I'm proud of my cousin, salutatorian Shakil Persad, who said, "Teachers, you have done more than you could have asked for, and now it's time we light our torches from your fire." And his sister as well. Congratulations to you guys. Now, the VAL was Darshan Adesani, class president, Imani Wilkinson. The total number of scholarships received was $3.5 million. The commencement speaker was Peter Bailey. Congrats to our graduates there. Now, the St. Thomas St. John Seventh-day Adventist School graduation began with a consecration service on Friday at the Cruz Bay SDA Church in St. John, where alumni Alyssa Ryan of the class of 2007 delivered a powerful presentation to the graduates. Then on Saturday, June 10th, at the Philadelphia SDA Church on St. Thomas, Dr. Kern Tobias, president of the Caribbean Union Conference of SDA, again delivered a powerful presentation based on a compelling case study of success. Recognition was given to the writer of the school song, which was written by Mr. Gilchrist Sproul, alumni of the class of 1992. Then on Sunday, June 11th, the St. Thomas St. John Seventh-day Adventist School's 7 students graduated. They are Derek Thomas Jr., who is the valedictorian, Kevin King, salutatorian, Aliyah Benjamin, Khalil Smith, Makita Wade, Ayon George, and Nia St. John. The commencement address was given by Mr. Samuel Ray, the CEO of Host U Services. All of the 7 graduates are planning to attend UVI in the fall semester. Well, don't forget this Father's Day. One place you can take him to is the Frenchtown for the annual Father's Day celebration, celebrating the 100th VI Transfer Centennial. From June 16th to the 18th, mark that on the calendar, there will be nightly entertainment, but it all begins with an opening ceremony. Now on that Friday, the crowning of Miss Carnage, Destiny Peterson, will also take place from 8 p.m. to 10:30. It's the Latin performer Victor El Piri performing. From 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., it's the popular Top Notch Band. Then on Saturday, June 17th, from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m., Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights. Then 10 to 2 a.m., Spectrum Band keeps the crowd dancing. Sunday, the final night, 5:30 to 8:30, Poison Band. Then 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., it's Cool Sessions Brass. And be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Summer 2017 may be the hottest one yet, as the St. Kitts Music Festival celebrates 21 years of world-class music. From June 22nd to the 24th, come and experience the intoxicating beauty of St. Kitts, while enjoying sizzling hot performances by Third World, Shabba Ranks, Kugu Dolls, Mavado, Jackie, and a whole lot more. Follow your heart to the St. Kitts Music Festival this June. It's sure to be an experience like no other.
Pleasant weather here across the islands. Taking a look at our satellite, we don't really see much going on around here. It's pretty quiet. We're in a light trade wind pattern, meaning we're just going to see some light showers pass through here the next couple of days. As we take a closer look, maybe just a couple clouds, but certainly not much as far as precipitation. So for tonight, it's going to be dry, partly cloudy, very humid, with a low temperature of 81 degrees. Tomorrow in St. John, 91 degrees for the high with a brief shower. And that's going to be a similar story for St. Thomas. We're at 91 degrees, mostly sunny. Also in St. Croix, 88 degrees. And everyone could see just a brief shower passing through. Other than that, lots of sunshine and very warm temperatures. The waves are at 3 to 5 feet. This is in the Atlantic side. Winds out of the east from 10 to 15 knots. We don't have any advisories to tell you about. And on the Caribbean side, well, it's the exact same. Waves 3 to 5 feet, winds out of the east from 10 to 15 knots. So if you're snorkeling or if you're out there fishing, just enjoy yourself. Just be careful as always. Let's take a look at this 5-day. Well, throughout the week, as I said, it's going to be pretty quiet. Temperature is at 91 degrees, couple trade wind showers, but then in the weekend, we are going to see a tropical wave head in our direction, which means an increase in showers. We can expect that here on Saturday and into Sunday. Temperatures still remain nice and warm, though, with a high of 91 degrees. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you. Let's take a peek at our News 2 weather picture there by Cristino Gonzalez, second grader, sending this beautiful shot there. Some palm trees swaying in the wind and smooth sailing. Time to get ready for some fishing. Getting close to the weekend. Well, kind of close. It's only Tuesday, but put it on the schedule there. Send us your News 2 weather picture too, the address on the screen, and then tune in to see it right here on News 2. That is all for this edition. Thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Duman saying have a wonderful evening.